Well, hi everybody. As we welcome you in, sitting on the video chat with me, Blues broadcaster John Kelly. I'm Chris Kerber. Glad to have you with us quickly. And the Blues putting it out earlier today being Friday, that John Kelly was one of the people impacted and affected by the COVID-19 virus. He tested positive for it. He did go get tested, and then when the test results eventually came back, he tested positive for it. And we wanted to bring John in, and frankly, I guess from an educational standpoint, just kind of give people an idea of how he's doing, where he's at in the recovery process, and, just kind of reminding everybody that we're all together now and we're in it together. John, it's actually great to see you. I haven't seen you since we got off the plane and from Anaheim, and I know you were under the weather really at that point. So I know it's been a bit of a process for you. How are you doing? Where are you at? What kind of update can you give us right now?
Well, Chris, thank you for having me and showing obviously your concern. The good news is that I feel great. And I not only was I tested positive for coronavirus, which came back earlier Friday morning, the results did. I had a case of pneumonia, which was, I've had it before years ago, and it really was very difficult. So I went through pneumonia, which in a way, I've been told by my doctors that it's a type of coronavirus or is caused by it. So it was a very complicated situation, but I've had great care from the doctors. They put me on antibiotics, and since a week ago Monday, I've started to feel better, and this week I really turned the corner. So the good news is I feel great. Me and my family have been in quarantine. We're listening to the doctors and the authorities. And so from that perspective, it's all good.
That is the really good news here. But we also don't want to minimize the impact of it. I know in some texts that we got from Jennifer keeping us updated on you. And even from you, you were really sick. It has taken a while to get through this, hasn't it?
Yeah, Chris, going back a week and a half, I went to urgent care and they did an X-ray on my lungs and discovered the pneumonia. And, I was not eating well. I was dehydrated, and I was really sick, quite honestly, very sick. And at that time, I got tested that day, but the doctor didn't think I had coronavirus. But, it's just an educational guess. And certainly we're dealing with a new subject and a new virus. So I just figured I had pneumonia. And I got better, as I said, last week, and then this week really turned the corner. And again, the test came back positive today. But the doctor feels that I'm over it for the most part, but I'm going to stay quarantined for another week or so out of an abundance of caution.
And you and I were trading text messages. So once you got this news, I had a couple of questions for you. If it's okay, I'm going to on text. I'm going to ask you those same questions. Well, what did the doctors tell you just in terms about, having it about the contagious aspect? When are you contagious, at least with the knowledge that they have now?
Well, Chris, it's a bit of an unknown. And I've spoken to a couple of different doctors and sort of gotten different time frames. The bottom line is I don't think they know 100% how long you might be contagious. So, my primary doctor told me that, you should be symptom free for a couple of weeks, but he wanted to be extra cautious. So he wanted me to be in quarantine for even another week after that. So we're almost to the 2-week period. So we're going to be cautious and stay quarantined for another week after Monday.
Listen, you've been a part. You've been at home. You've been watching all this stuff. We were talking about the different things that were happening as we were going, frankly, into that game in Anaheim along those kind of lines. And you've heard people say, well, it's just the flu, or it's just this. Now having had the personal experience of being impacted, is there a message? Is there something that you'd like to say to everybody out there?
Well, my message is obviously listen to your doctors and the officials. And this is a serious situation for a lot of people. And I think that we all should listen to the experts, and especially when it comes to quarantine, to listen and to stay quarantined and not take any chances at all with your health or the health of friends or of course, strangers. The last thing I want to do is to give this virus to anyone else. So that would be my message, is to listen to the doctors and the authorities and do what's right.
Yeah, but again, stating for everybody from the positive standpoint, you've turned the corner and have been given a good, clear diagnosis from the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm 100% over the pneumonia, Chris. The doctor said it could take actually months to clear 100%. But as far as how I feel 95 to 100%. So I've made major strides in the last 10 days, which is great.
Well, makes us happy to hear that. I know you were sick. I know you weren't feeling well going in. So it's great to hear that you're doing better. Like I said, I'll be a video chat. We'll get the poker games going eventually when we're all allowed to get together again and stuff like that. Those that don't know, John Kelly is an avid poker player, and he's darn good at it. You sit next to in a casino across the table in a tournament from John Kelly. You got to have your wits about you. He'll take some money. You found a way to place in a pretty good number of tournaments, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a fun hobby, so to speak, Chris. Can't wait to do it. But more importantly, I can't wait to see, Blues hockey again and announce games, and let's get back to normal. But I know it's going to take a while, but we can just cross our fingers that this will pass in a short time and we can all get back to what we love to do, and that's watch Blues hockey.
How about that hand we had on that one plane flight where quad jacks beat quad threes? That was
but I was on the losing end of it. That's a bad memory.
Yeah. Forget I won that one. But that's okay. Yeah. It'll come back together. Say real quick. Let's talk some hockey. The Blues announced earlier today that they have agreed to terms with Scott Perunovich, and more will come out of this as people follow what's going on. But always good when an organization can find a way to get their draft picks in, especially when it's a player like this who is really playing as one of the best, if not the best, current defenseman in college hockey.
Yeah, the reports we've heard about Scott are excellent. And, he would have been a free agent had the Blues not signed him by July 1st. That date obviously could change because of the situation. A lot of dates could change, obviously. But, Chris, anytime that you're considered one of the top players in college hockey and you've won championships, that's a pretty good pedigree. And, I talked to Keith Tkachuk about him because I know he saw him a lot. And he feels that this young man, is a real good prospect, and hopefully he'll be in a Blues uniform sooner than later. But it's exciting news that the Blues were able to sign him, no question. Yeah,
well, again, John, most importantly, really glad to hear you're coming out of this on the tail end the right way. Congratulations. Looks like you got a little old-fashioned iron behind you, so there'll probably be some chores for you there at the house now that you can be up and moving around. Jennifer will be happy to see that, but we're thrilled you're doing better. Good seeing you, buddy, and we'll be back at it hopefully before too long. Okay. Okay.
Thanks for having me, and get tested if you have to, and be quarantined and do what everyone says. We want everyone to be healthy, no question.
Be smart about it, folks. Listen to what everybody says. Let's go Blues.